Welcome into the Daily Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Evan, and I'm here today with a special guest in the house. You've seen him in the Timberwolves community. That is Travis Singleton at Sneaker Reporter. People might know him from that on X. Man, I would definitely go give him a follow. If you see that up on the screen, it's at Sneaker Reporter on X. We're excited to have you on the Daily Wolves courtside bonus episode to just talk about the Timberwolves, some of your experiences, man, everything like that. And of course, Andrew, you're on as well, my co-host. How you doing, Andrew?
Good. Wolves had a practice because they lost to the Pacers, so it is nice to be able to get in the building and see guys, and it's nice to have Travis here with us too. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, definitely been a long time coming, man. The one thing I could definitely say, I appreciate Evan because from day one, since I've been out here, definitely been looking out. So I definitely appreciate that. It should have happened a long time ago, but better late than never. That's how I always look at it.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you
100%.
on, and you're one of the guys that's always connecting everyone on with the sneaker community as well. I see you out there posting the Jordans. I'm a big sneakerhead fan myself, man. So it's cool to see that, but then also the basketball community, everything like that. Your journey from how you got to the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're gonna kind of go over that in a second. Obviously, we'll go over some stuff about the Minnesota Timberwolves team as well, from what you see, your perspective of the team, and just any cool stories, bro, that you kind of got for the audience listening today. But yeah, man, I guess starting off with you're obviously you start in Boston, right? Kind of going back to that. How does that all come about, and how did you your journey coming in here?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's crazy because started with the Celtics, covering the Celtics, and got an opportunity with this company called BlackAthlete.net, and they really put me in a position to be successful, and start covering the Celtics back in 2009. That was my first year. From that, the funny, I could tell you a quick funny story about Boston. I almost got my credential taken away from me the first night because I tried to, I'm taking selfies with Rondo, KG, and Paul Pierce and stuff. I lost it. You know what I'm saying? Boston kid, covering the Celtics, so it was a big deal to me. And but I was in on Boston from 2009 to 2014. And then after that, I honestly got to give a lot of credit. Shout out to the Memphis Tigers right now. Nolan Smith on the coaching staff. He's one of the people that really put me in a position to be successful right now, where I'm at now. I feel like I would have probably been the average Joe Schmo if it wasn't for Nolan kind of connecting the dots for me and making things happen. And then that's kind of how I ended up in OKC in 2014, because in the summer league he was playing for Oklahoma City's summer league team, and ended up connecting the dots with some of the players on there like Andre Robertson, Serge Ibaka. That's when I ended up meeting KD and Russ and all those guys. And then I was like, hey man, I'll go out to OKC because they were like, yo, nobody covers the league like how you do. You're bringing it from both different angles, right? You're talking about sneakers, but at the same time, you're talking about lifestyle and the game. And they was like, nobody in Oklahoma City's really doing that. So they was like, that would be crazy, for you to come out there and really, give everybody a culture, a culture type of take on things. And I was like, all right, man, if I come out there to Oklahoma, y'all better look out for me. And I remember 2014, October 2014, I moved out to Oklahoma, took a chance on myself. And then all of a sudden, I remember the first day I walked in the locker room, I was like, I'm going to find out everything I need to know right now. So I walked in there, and then everybody was like, Trav, what's up? Trav, what's up? I was like, oh, okay, all right, woo, woo. So it felt good to just get in the locker room, and even the PR staff was like, you already know all the players? I was like, yeah. I was like, I met them all at Summer League and stuff. So it was a smooth transition. And Oklahoma City, I wouldn't be in Minnesota today without Oklahoma City. That experience, covering Westbrook, Durant, PG, even Carmelo and Chris Paul in their short stints, Shea, what he's doing right now. So that whole trajectory, throughout the years, man, really, really took my brand to a next level. I always got to give a lot of credit to Oklahoma City because when I started my Sneaker Reporter brand, they were the first team that was like, hey, we support what you're doing. Let's give them a full credential and let's ride with it. Let's see what happens. And I'm forever grateful for what they did and the opportunity they gave me to be able to be me. and a lot of people weren't, covering sneakers back in 2014 through, throughout the years. Like people caught on after. I definitely want to say I'm a pioneer, and a lot of people started catching on, after, especially in the media world. I will say there's some true like sneaker reporters out there that like
Mhm.
are strictly just sneakers all day. I will give them credit. But as far as somebody that switches it up like NBA media and doing sneaker stuff too, nobody's done that. So when Oklahoma City gave me an opportunity, I was like, you know what, like I just gotta run with it. And then that opened up avenues for different sneaker collabs and different opportunities. Working with Jordan Brand, Nike and New Balance, Puma, even with Reebok and now with Adidas and in Minnesota with Ant. Funny thing is like growing up, like I didn't like Adidas, like I hated Adidas.
Mhm.
Just being honest, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
because all my favorite players were getting hurt wearing Adidas. You got Derrick Rose and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
I just didn't like it growing up. But over the years, they've gotten a lot better. Technology's a lot better. Comfort levels a lot better, and I think they gained a lot of swag and a lot of culture when they had Kanye, right? So
Yeah.
started having the Yeezys and different things like that. So I was like, okay, now I need to get into Adidas. They got all these different celebrities and rappers, that are getting endorsement deals with them. So I was like, let me start wearing them. So they started feeling comfortable and stuff. But yeah, made a small little stint in Houston, and then ended up
And
transitioning.
Travis, why'd you have to go to Houston?
Man, hey, first of all, I love Russell Westbrook, man. I there's no slander that will ever come out of my mouth about Westbrook. Uh, I'm loyal to him. It don't matter.
Hmm.
Any player that can sit down and talk to my mother for about an hour after a game, hey, my mom was talking his ear off, but they were talking each other's ear off. So I'm kind of loyal to it because of that. Just from the human aspect. He's just a great guy. A lot of people, he's really
Yeah.
misunderstood. And he's one of the best, athletes on and off the court. He's just a super competitor. That's all.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being a people person, like he really is. So when I was going to Houston, it was right when he got traded. So, and it was during COVID too, and I left OKC with family stuff too. My family needed a little help in Houston, so it kind of just made sense with Russ going down the street to Houston, and then he got shipped out, and I was highly upset. I was highly upset, man. But things happen, life happens, and I will tell you this: I'm very loyal. Reached out to 5 teams when I was ready to leave Houston: Minnesota, Orlando, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and I reached out to Utah. Those were the 5 teams I reached out to,
Mhm.
and I'm the type of person whoever hits me up and wants me to be covering their team, whoever wants me there first, that's where I'm going. And Sarah reached out to me right away with Minnesota, and as soon as I got the okay from her, I was like, all right, I'm out. I still got reached out by other teams and stuff, but I'm very loyal to who wants me, and it's been a great transition. I believed in this team from the jump. Like right when they did the Rudy trade, I was like, I see something. Like I see something brewing. And
Mhm.
that was the outside looking in.
Mhm.
Because obviously I didn't really have my eyes on Minnesota as much. So when I saw they did the trade, I'm like, okay, all right, they got something brewing now with Cat and Gobert. They're gonna be able to actually make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those situations where you got to kind of take a leap of faith and believe in the organization. And I'm grateful for coming here, man. I met people like yourselves, and then at the same time, I've built up relationships and rapport here too. And it's a lot easier to transition somewhere when you got relationships around the league,
Yeah.
because now
Mhm.
when other players are coming and stuff, they're like, "Yo, you're in Minnesota." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm freezing," like stuff like that. So it's just pretty cool, man. And I love the fans though. The Timberwolves fans have been great since I got here, man. And they definitely made me feel welcome. So that's something I definitely appreciate.
Coming from Minnesota, did it help with that like Shea connection? Because Nikhil was already here when you got here, right?
No, Nikhil came in the trade, remember? Because I
Oh,
came in
Nikhil was
2020.
after you.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
came in 2022. So Mike and everybody came after. I was here for D'Lo. So
Okay.
yeah, so once it was pretty cool though because I met Nikhil back in Oklahoma City, anyways. when they would play the Thunder and stuff, and then that's when I tied in everything like, oh, they're cousins and stuff. So I even have a picture of like when I first met them and stuff like that, like dapping them up and stuff. Like I had a picture of like, giving them handshakes and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, like full circle moment. When we got in the kill, I was like, letting them know like, hey, Shea took care of me when I was in OKC and all that. So it was just pretty cool because now you got that vibe now, and he's doing amazing stuff this year.
Facts, man. When you speak of your relationship with Shea going back to OKC, how'd that kind of come about? And you guys still have like a relationship today? And obviously you seem like you're tied in, bro, with like Nickeil Alexander-Walker and kind of like, again, that family with Shea and all them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so crazy too, because right after he got traded to OKC, Shea, I remember media day, like he did his media day and everything, and I remember he came up to me, he was like, "Hey, you're the sneaker guy, like I need to know where all the sneakers at," and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "I can point you to the right places and stuff," because he's a big sneaker collector too. But it was funny because we did the media day, media availability, and then after that, like he's like, "Where do I go?" And we're like, "What are you talking about?" He walks right in the media room and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I need a ride home." He's like, "I don't know where I'm going." So all the media guys are like, "Hey, we'll take you home. I'll take you home." And then all you see is the Thunder PR real quick. "Oh, no. We'll have one of the interns take him." So but it was pretty funny from that standpoint. That was the first day I ever met him and stuff. And just covering him, man. He's so smart, and some of the plays he makes, he's just really shifty and crafty, and he knows how to get to his spots. That's one thing, like covering him, I noticed that, at the time I could see where he's at right now. Like I saw it coming, but at the same time, I didn't know what the Thunder were going to do, right? You know what Shea's going to do, but from a team perspective, it's like, okay, what's the direction, right? And I didn't know what the direction was. So I actually wanted to go back to OKC. That was, matter of fact, that was the first team I reached out to before I started inquiring about other teams, because Oklahoma City, I'm loyal to that. I'm loyal to that community for sure. Met a lot of people that are, best friends of mine now. Gonna be in some weddings in Oklahoma in this off season. So that Oklahoma's a part of me. So I reached back out, and after that it's always good seeing Shea, and even Matt Tumbleson and those type of guys, the people that are with the PR. Even Lou Dort was there when I was there, so a lot of the same staff. And then it's always cool to see Sam Presti. He's from New England, so we already have that tie together too. So anytime I see them, it's always love, and I always just thank them and appreciate them for, looking out for me and really giving the Sneaker Reporter brand the battery that I needed, in my back at the time.
No, I love that, man. What's it like? You come to Minnesota, you get to be around one of the special players in the league, another young guy. Just like SGA, that's Anthony Edwards. What's it like to be around him, and how's Anthony Edwards kind of behind the scenes, man? You got any dope stories about Ant?
Yeah, not for sure. Like Ant, I'll tell you this. Like one thing that I knew, and it's crazy because after Sarah and them reached out to me and was like, "All right, yeah, come on to Minnesota." I think I stayed on YouTube for like maybe like six hours, just like watching Anthony Edwards highlights, like just really digging in. I knew who he was from far away, but when you actually get the chance to get in front of him and watch the talent, you're like, okay, this is raw talent. Like if he just fixes a couple of little things, continues to grow and continues to be disciplined and mature, like he can really, take off and be that guy. And since day one, since I've been here, man, he has the, I know he don't like it, but he has the mannerisms of MJ, and he just moves like him, and that's something that people gravitate towards, right? So, for me, I gravitated towards him. I love what him and Kat were doing. I also love what they were doing with Rudy in the mix too. So, for me, it was just always like fun to just watch him. But I feel like I've seen him grow year by year since I've been here as a leader, as a scorer. Now he knows, okay, I can get whatever I want. Like I can go to the basket. I'm either gonna get fouled, I'm gonna make it. If I miss it, I know I can come back and still get another chance. But now I'm seeing him grow as a leader where he's leading the team. Before I felt like he was still the guy. It was brewing, but we also knew that Cat was that voice that people really listen to because he's been here for so long. But just to see his evolution has been really impressive. And some of the stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't really, get the chance to see. Like even like back in December, like I did post it, but like I don't think everybody knew about it. But even back in December, like he took care of like 8 families and took care of all their electricity bills and different things like that. Like he's always making time out for the people that need help. And he's trying to just be a positive influence, regardless of what people say about him now, like outside the arena. Inside the arena, he's one of the most genuine people, and even outside the arena, from my experience, he's been genuine to me, So at the end of the day, like, people are always going to chat about you, and that's what comes with being the face of the league and getting to the face of the league. People talk about LeBron all day, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think once he grows into that face of the league, which I do believe he will be, then I think we'll be able to see a different version of Anthony Edwards. But I mean, one of the stories that kind of stood out to me, that meant a lot to me, was, I mean, he made, like, I remember when his shoe was first like rumored that it was coming out, and we was in the locker room and stuff, and I remember all the media, we were all like, "Hey man, we're gonna get our pair, man. We're gonna get a pair." And he's like, "Yeah, I got y'all, I got y'all." And like fast forward like maybe 6 or 7 months, then he got all the media. He got all the media his shoes. He kept his word. So a lot of people don't know that too, like behind the scenes, like what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
uh, so it's pretty cool to just be able to see, the type of person he is, and he really kept his word. Like he looked out for us. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty cool. And then on top of that, I think it was really dope. I went out there to Atlanta when they did when they first debuted the shoe. So I was able to like see all his family and the neighborhoods that he grew up in and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool too, behind the scenes, and be able to really get to see him interact with the people of his city, Atlanta. That was really cool too. So he's been nothing but good to me. Him and Adidas have been great to me. I wouldn't be here without them. As far as getting that extra coverage that I get with his shoes or anything like that. Like Adidas will be like, "Hey, check out. Hey, watch what he's wearing tonight. Hey, we got something. He's coming with this." So they always give me like a heads up. And I respect that. I respect that partnership that we're building and growing and relationship. A lot of people behind the scenes at Adidas, Miles, Pierre, Brandon. There's a lot of people over there that are really putting in the work with the AE1s, and the AE2s are coming. So, let's be on the lookout for that. I do know when they're coming. I don't want to get in trouble though. So we'll keep that for another podcast when it's a little closer. But hey, they've been nothing but great to me, and I love the man that Anthony Edwards is definitely becoming on the floor and off the floor.
Slept on with Ant is just like his work ethic. I think people see how like happy-go-lucky he is, how just like personable he is. It seems like he really likes talking to the media. Like he just kind of like has this joyousness to him, but like that guy behind the scenes works constantly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
him and Chris Hines are glued to each other.
yeah,
And like he puts in easily the most work I've ever seen an athlete put in to like their game.
yeah,
I think another thing that's kind of slept on is like, even as media members, like I'm not going to say like favorites, but there's people in the locker room that you kind of gravitate towards. Like for
for
me,
sure.
I love Jaden McDaniels. Like I love his vibe. I love how funny he is. Like I feel like when we're interacting like post practice stuff, like Jaden is just like a genuinely good person. He's my dude. I mean, Travis, if you had to pick someone, who
Oh,
would
you're
you
gonna
say
do
that
this
is
to
for
me?
you?
You're gonna do
I'm
this
doing
to
this
me?
to you right now. I'm getting it
Oh,
on the
man.
record.
On the record, uh, I feel like it would probably be a tie between. I'm gonna say a three-way tie, because I feel like
Okay.
these three, if I go to them for whatever, I know if I do go to them, I can get something. I would probably say Ant, Mike, and Nas.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three. Like if I really need something and I go to them and be like, "Hey man, what about this?" Or "Hey, are you a sneaker free agent?" Or "Hey, what happened on that play or whatever." I feel like any room of anywhere I ask, it can go from basketball to off the court. I think I can probably
Mhm.
get an answer out of them without there being any. Come on, Trav. I think they would really, because I don't do it. I don't do it all the time, but when I do
Yeah.
it, I make sure it's at the right time.
That's what's up, boys. Obviously the Timberwolves this year, they struggle in the beginning of the year a bit. They're coming together now.
Yeah.
They almost had a 9-game winning streak the other day before they lost, but they've been just on fire lately. Obviously, Dante coming back, Randall coming back. They're healthy again, it seems. They got their full guys. TJ stepped up in their absence. They really found something in him. Obviously, Jalen Clark, he's been awesome as well.
Yeah.
What's the outlook, guys, of the rest of the season? What are you kind of feeling and going to that potential playoff run? Where are they kind of finishing in the West? If you boys were gonna kind of pick something.
I'll let you go first, Andrew, if you want.
I mean, to me, I still think someone falls, whether it's Houston, Memphis, Golden State slips, Denver slips. Like, there's too many teams bunched up ahead of them that are too close to each other. Like, I think some team will fall. It's untold if the Wolves can capitalize on it, though, which one thing they've done all year is they choose to do things the hard way almost. You know, Indiana comes in here, most of their starters are missing. I mean, Jaden talked about it today after practice of just like they kind of didn't take it seriously. And because they didn't take that game seriously, if they want to get out of the 7 spot, now they're going to have to go back to back against New Orleans. They're probably going to have to win Detroit, Indiana, and then they're going to have to take care of business against the Suns again, which the Wolves have proven they can do that. But it's just kind of frustrating that they always seem to have to do things the hard way this year. Whereas last year, they just kind of took care of their business and everyone was happy. I still am pretty confident. Like, I still think like 10-2 to finish the season is obtainable. And I think if they go 10-2, we're probably not watching a play-in game, which, you know, I don't think any of the other 3 play-in teams are at the Wolves level. But again, when this team kind of shows that they're not waking up for certain games, it's best to just avoid that. Travis, what do you think?
No, I agree with what you're saying. I think they can do the 10-2. I really feel like, you know, this team just plays to their competition, right? So obviously the Pacers came in, and then you're like, okay, this should be a gimme win. You know, we should automatically steamroll them. And then you got Obi Toppin that's shooting his lights out. So, you know, things like that happen. You know, they do happen. It's the NBA, you know, it happens. But I do think that a lot of people keep forgetting on how long it took for this team to gel. Right. And when you trade, you know, a big piece like Cat right before, you know, media day, I mean, you know, that kind of shifts everything. Right. So it took this team a lot longer to actually grow into the team that we're seeing now. They're gelling on all cylinders. Defensively, they're finally locking in, you know, and offensively, Julius is finding out, okay, I need to facilitate. I need to be, I don't know what the heck happened, but oh well. He was like, I need to be the triple double Julius Randle, and I need to make sure that you know, I'm doing everything in my power to actually make sure that you know, that they're actually doing what they need to do on the offensive end. So I think if they actually continue to, you know, just continue to work hard and grind out, because we got the best strength of schedule, you know, the end of the season. So if we just continue to eke these games out and game by game, just make sure we lock in, I think we'll be right there. But like I said, it took us a long time to actually gel and get to where everybody knows their role, like Chris Finch said, right? Everybody's locking in, everybody knows their role. And I think this was really good for those young players like TJ and Rob, you know, even Jalen Clark, because these guys got some experience, some big minutes and big games that they really needed. So now with everybody back, it's like, okay, if we need them, we can plug them in, but at least they got experience. So I think this is really big. And obviously having Nas, Dante, and Na coming off the bench, I think that's a serious, like, we're not really having a drop off after they, you know, after the starters get out. So
Yeah.
I think any team that's running into them, they're gonna be scared about it for sure.
Yeah, it looks good for the rest of the year, boys. We got a lot of games left. Game tonight against the Pelicans. There's a game on Friday as well against the Pelicans, back to back. Speaking of Friday, man, pop out to Headflyer Brewing out in Northeast Minneapolis. We're gonna be doing a Timberwolves watch party. Shout out to Headflyer for putting it on with us, and we're actually releasing an Anthony Edwards Timberwolves themed beer. We're dropping it this Friday at Headflyer Brewing, so pop out if you want to watch the game and enjoy a Timberwolves themed beer. Man, it's been great having you on, Travis. Andrew, it's been awesome having you on. we're gonna get out of here today for the audience. Once again, you can find Travis out there at Sneaker Reporter on X. I would definitely shoot him a follow, guys. It's on the screen as well for those watching on YouTube. And as always, go Wolves.